grandbaby should be here. My daughter should be here. That's all I can say. I miss my girls. And they not here. And they just don't sit right with me at all. There is no need for you to do anything. Brandon, you could have walked away. You should have stayed gone. Because my grandbaby was going to be taken care of regardless. You shot my baby 5 times in the head.
How did he get in the war? I see that. They didn't go as far as they go.
Y'all, before we get into anything else, I need you to sit with a question. Because I don't have the answer, and by the end of this video, neither will you. How does 2 people go from calling each other baby, from lovebirds from my whole world, to one of them deciding the other one doesn't get to live? I've told my share of love gone wrong stories on this channel. Love gone violent. Love gone straight off a cliff. But this one is different. This isn't just about what Brandon Isabelle did to Danielle Hoyle, the woman he claimed he cared about. It's about what he did after, to somebody who never even got the chance to call him anything at all. Now, Brandon had a resume. FedEx Employee of the Year 2020, a certificate, a little ceremony, a whole letter thanking him for his outstanding performance. Most men, that's the highlight of their year. Brandon took that same work ethic and applied it somewhere else entirely. 3 women, 1 wife he never quite got around to divorcing, 2 girlfriends who each believed they had the full picture. Baby. FedEx trained this man to run a route, and somehow he turned it into a juggling act. And when detectives sat him down after, he couldn't even keep that story straight. 4 different versions of what happened that night. 4? Lord. This is the same man they praise for consistency. Kennedy Hoyle was 2 days old. That's what everybody says, 2 days. But when they laid it all out in that courtroom, the real number was 45 hours. 45 hours is the entire account of a whole life. I need you to hold on to that number, because by the end of this story, a jury's going to decide what 45 hours is worth. I want you to do that math yourself and tell me in the comments if it adds up for you. I don't have an answer for how a person gets from lovebirds to that. I really don't. But I'm going to walk you through exactly how it happened, because these 2 deserve for somebody to say their names right. Before any of this, before Brandon, before any of what's coming in this video, let's talk about who Danielle Hoyle actually was. Danielle worked full days at FedEx. She came home to a 9-year-old daughter, Jariah, who she was raising with her mother's help in Whitehaven. That's not resting after a shift. That's a whole second job most people never clock into. And by every account from the people who knew her, she was good at it. She showed up, not just for birthdays and holidays, but for the regular, unglamorous, everyday stuff that actually holds a family together. When she found out she was pregnant with Kennedy, she didn't get quiet about it. She sent her mother the ultrasound picture that same day. Mama, guess what they found? That's what she told her. Her mother thought at first she was joking because the family didn't think Danielle was having any more kids. She wasn't joking. She was already excited, already planning, already thinking about who this baby was going to be before anybody else in this story had made up their mind about anything at all. So when Brandon told her the pregnancy was a mistake and asked her to end it, Danielle didn't fold. She was 5 months along. She told him plainly it wasn't happening. And she decided on her own that she was doing this with or without him. Baby, that's not a woman who needed saving. That's a woman who had already made her decision and just needed everybody else to catch up. Now let's talk about Brandon's little rotation. Phew. Because, baby, this was a whole rotation, 3 women deep, and not one of them had the full picture. There was Jariah, the actual wife. Separated, sure, but no divorce papers filed. Not for years. There was Danielle, working full days at FedEx. and now carrying his child. And then there was Artesia, the one he actually wanted to keep. Now, here's the thing about Brandon. When Danielle told him she was pregnant, he didn't step up. He stepped back. He called it a mistake. He asked her to end it. She was 5 months along by then, and she told him plainly that's not happening. So Danielle made her decision. She was doing this with or without him. Meanwhile, over on the Artesia side of the ledger, Brandon was building an entirely different story. December 23rd, he sends a whole heartfelt message to her family, talking about how he used to cheat, but he's different now. For real this time, he swears. Sure. Christmas Day, he gives her a promise ring while a pregnant woman 2 relationships over is getting told her baby is an inconvenience. Now, let me tell y'all about the timing on this, man, because it is criminal. And I don't just mean legally. January 27th, he files for divorce from Zariah. 3 days later, Danielle goes into labor. And that same night, the night his own daughter's being born, his phone shows him searching whether a bullet can be traced back to a gun and browsing engagement rings on Jared.com. For Artesia. I said what I said. This man was ring shopping while his baby's mother was in active labor 2 miles away. That is not a red flag. That is the whole flag factory, and I need y'all to sit with that. So, who was Artesia in all this? Well, y'all don't have to take my word for it. Let's let her tell it herself.
At that time, were you aware whether he was married or single?
At that time, from what I know, he was single, and then I found out he was married.
Did you and the defendant have nicknames for each other?
Yes.
What were they?
Pudding and Wifey and Cookie.
And so who was Cookie?
Me.
And who was Pudding?
Brandon.
And is it fair for me to assume Wifey was you as well?
Yes.
Have the two of you talked about getting married at some point?
Yes.
Did he at some point give you a promise ring?
Yes.
Now, how did you feel about the defendant possibly having another child?
I wasn't too fond of it. Wasn't sure about continuing the date.
Now, I'm going to take you to the night of February 1st of 2022. Where were you at the beginning of that evening?
At the beginning of that evening, I was at home.
And is that at the Stacy Roadhouse?
Yes.
And what were you doing?
Pretty much just planning my daughter's birthday, my birthday, just at home.
Now, at the beginning of the evening, did you have Aaliyah?
Yes.
Did you keep her the whole night?
No.
Where did she go?
With her father.
Did he come pick her up?
Yes.
And later that night, did you end up going out?
Yes.
Now, before you went out, were you supposed to meet Mr. Isabelle that evening?
Yes.
Do you remember about what time that was supposed to happen?
6.
And where were you supposed to meet?
At my house.
Why were you meeting?
He wanted to talk to me and my mom about our relationship.
Do you know why you wanted to talk to your mom?
With her finding out about Danielle having a baby. So she found out about him having a baby, him being separated, and she felt like there was no more of the relationship that needed to be. So I guess with her knowing, he wanted to talk to me and her about it.
Are you and your mom close?
Yes.
Is she a protective mom?
Yes.
Does she want the best for you?
Yes.
Now, did he ever show up to that meeting?
No.
Was there anything significant about February 1st?
It was Brandon's birthday.
And do you recall how old he was turning in 2022?
26.
Now, throughout that night of February 1st, 2022, did the defendant text you?
Yes.
We talked about this a little bit, but did you stay at Stacy Road all night?
No.
Where did you go?
I went to my cousin's house.
And what's your cousin's name?
My Asia.
Is she your blood cousin?
No, we just grew up together.
Is she someone you've known for a long time?
Yes.
And was it early evening that you went to see Myasia or later? Do you remember?
Late evening, I want to say around 10 o'clock.
And why were you going to meet Myasia?
I went to give her a deposit for my nails for my birthday.
And where did Myasia live at that time?
I can't give the direct address, but it was between North 2nd and Chelsea.
And was she living in a house or apartments?
Apartment.
At that time, what kind of car were you driving?
A 2018 Kia Soul.
Do you recall about how long you stayed at Myasia's?
Until 11.
And where did you go after that?
I was headed to Dixie Queen
Why were you going to Dixie Queen?
to get something to eat.
Now, during this night, are you still texting with Mr. Isabelle?
Yes.
Do you recall if he asked you to get anything at Dixie Queen?
Yes.
Was that a little out of the ordinary?
Yes.
Why is that?
He normally doesn't eat Dixie Queen.
Now, when you were still out and about, did Mr. Isabelle share his location with you?
Yes.
Do you recall where that location was?
Walgreens at Elvis Presley and Raines.
Was that something that the two of you normally did in your relationship, share locations?
No.
Was it odd to you?
Yes.
Back at that time, what kind of vehicle did the defendant drive?
A Chevy Malibu,
And do you remember what color it was?
white.
I'm going to show you a picture, Exhibit 68, and see if you recognize it. Do you recognize that vehicle?
Yes.
Is that Brandon Isabel's Chevy Malibu?
Yes.
Was he driving it that night?
Yes.
Did the two of you arrange to meet up?
Yes.
And where were you going to meet?
My house.
Now, who got to your house first?
Brandon.
And when you pulled up, where was he?
At my house.
Was he inside or outside?
Outside.
Was he coming out of the house or was he standing outside?
Coming out of the house.
And what happened when he came out of the house?
I was trying to park my car normally under the tree where his car is located. I tried to park my car right there.
Let me stop you just 1 second. Let me go back to Exhibit. Exhibit 67. Okay. So, where would you normally park?
Under the tree, which is to the right of the Chrysler.
So over in this area?
Yes.
Okay. And then, so you pulled up, and what happened next?
I was trying to get him to move his car so I can park to have him drive his car, because he told me that he went and got gas. I didn't have any gas in my car, so when I told him to move his car, he told me we didn't have any time to move my vehicle, so we had to drive my car
And where were you going?
to his mom's house.
Why?
He told me that he got a call from Danielle's brother and that Danielle was missing and that he wanted to talk to Brandon about Danielle's whereabouts.
And so you left Stacy to go to, and to be clear, we're talking about Mr. Isabel's mom's house?
Yes,
And is that the house in Cordova?
yes,
And who was driving?
me,
And to be clear, whose car were you in?
my car.
How was he behaving when you were in the car?
He was pretty much on his phone a lot, texting a lot.
Having been in a relationship with him for a while, was he acting like he usually did?
No,
What happened when you got to his parents' house?
when we got to his parents' house, he went in. I stayed in the car for a minute, and then I got out. And when we went inside, Brandon was crying to his parents.
When you got to their house, did you have any weapons with you?
Yes,
What did you have with you?
I had my Smith & Wesson 40 caliber and a lime green bat.
And why did you have this with you?
After the phone call that Brandon's father had with Danielle's brother, that I think he got a text from some guy named Cortez, and he said that they was gonna come.
Just a second. There's an objection?
Withdrawn.
Go ahead, please.
He received a text message from someone named Cortez, and that they said they was gonna come and do something. So, with my defense, I went and got my weapons out of my car.
Now, did you normally have your gun with you?
Yes,
Did you normally have the bat in your car?
yes,
And did you move those items into the Lackberry house?
yes.
Now, while you were there, were the police called?
Yes,
And do you recall who called the police?
yes.
Who was it?
Brandon's mom.
And did officers arrive on the scene?
Yes,
Were you eventually taken down to the homicide office downtown?
yes,
And did you give a statement to them?
yes,
Do you remember how long you were there?
yes.
How long?
8 hours.
Now, did you end up giving the police your phone?
Yes,
And did you agree to allow them to search it?
yes.
I'm going to show you a couple of photographs and see if you recognize them. We'll take a look at those. Do you recognize those photos?
Yes,
And are those photos of your car that you were driving that night?
yes,
Did the police actually tell you to search your car?
yes.
Lord, sitting through all of that. Here's what stands out to me. Artasia wasn't in the dark about any of this. She knew about Danielle. She knew about the pregnancy. She stayed anyway on her own terms, breaking up and getting back together like it was a part-time job. And on the one night that mattered most, February 1st, Brandon's own birthday, he stood up the meeting with her and her mother. He was somewhere else entirely. We're about to find out exactly where. Now, I want to slow down here for a second because hindsight always sees clearer, but some of this was visible in real time. April Campbell testified that the moment she heard Brandon was married, she said something to her daughter directly. I'm going to say it exactly how she said it. If he's married, how do you think he's going to treat you? If he's not even treating his wife right, how's he going to treat you right? That's not a mother being dramatic. That's a mother doing math. There's more. Throughout the pregnancy, Brandon was, by April's own account, never around. Not once at the house while April was there. Danielle also told her mother she was getting threatening messages. Messages she believed came from Brandon's other girlfriend. April asked her more than once if she wanted to go to the police about it. Danielle said no. None of this on its own predicts what happened on February 1st. I want to be honest with you about that. But stacked together, a man who disappears during a pregnancy, a threat from another woman, and a mother's plain warning going unheeded, that's not nothing. That's a pattern, and patterns are usually easier to see after than during. On February 1st, Danielle left her mother's house with 2-day-old Kennedy in the back seat. She believed she was meeting Brandon to pick up baby clothes. He directed her instead to a dark stretch of Sedgwick Road. He got out of the car. He opened the passenger door. He fired 5 times. Danielle was struck in the head and in the neck. He pulled her body from the car and left her face down in a ditch. He drove to the river with Kennedy still in her car seat, and he threw her in. Officers found Danielle that night in a ditch off Sedgwick Road. Kennedy was gone. No car seat, no sign of her at all. When detectives finally got Brandon in an interview room, this is what he told them.
Well, a shocking new twist in a case that has shaken Memphis. The jury saw chilling video in the trial of a man accused of murder and throwing his newborn into the Mississippi River. This morning in court, jurors watched more of Brandon Isabelle's police interrogation. In it, Isabelle first claimed the baby may have slipped into the river. Then he said he pushed her, but minutes later he admitted he threw his 2-day-old daughter into the water. When police asked how far, he refused to say, only telling them the baby didn't go as far as the gun he had thrown. Afterward, Isabelle told officers he went home to Cordova to change clothes. Jurors saw similar video yesterday where Isabelle also admitted to shooting his girlfriend, Danielle Hoyle. Today's testimony places the location at the Mud Island boat ramp, adding another haunting detail to this devastating case.
What happened, Danielle? Tell the truth.
What did he say there?
I shot her.
After testimony wraps up today, Judge Carolyn Addison says the trial will continue tomorrow morning.
This is in Tennessee for the double murder trial for Brandon Isabelle. We are picking it up as the jury hears the interrogation of the defendant.
So you don't know how close she was? Brandon. You know what you did, man. I know what you did. You know what you did. It's obvious, bro. It's obvious. Let me explain something to you, okay? And I'm gonna put this in a way for you to understand, okay? Right now, your future depends on how people are gonna see you from here on out, right? That's not true. And let me explain it to you, okay? Let me explain something to you. Listen to me, Brandon, okay? Let me explain this to you, okay? Have you gone out drinking, like to the club and stuff like that before? Have you been out before? Okay, but you've been out. You've been out, people like in the crowd and stuff, right? Okay. Let me explain to you this, okay? And this is how this works when it comes to people seeing you, okay? You see this bar, right? Now, let's say that you're holding this bar, and you got your favorite drink in there, right? You stand in the crowd. Now, somebody bumps into you and knocks their drink down. Right? Now, there's one or two things that can happen. The guy who knocks their drink down, he could say, damn, my bad, man, I was having a bad day, I was having a bad moment, I'm sorry I knocked this drink out of your hand. I know it's your favorite drink, I fucked up, my bad, right? Or, that same guy can bump into you and walking, right? Which one of those people look the worst? Now, I'm gonna ask you something. Which one of those people you think you look like right now? Now, with that being said, keep that in mind, Brandon. You already told us everything else. You understand what I'm telling you? Just tell us the truth about the baby. Just tell us what you did. You threw her in the room? Okay, did you watch her going to the water? Brandon. It was a slightly hard push. Brandon, let me tell you something, okay? You had to walk over rocks to get down to the water edge, didn't you? I think I was like 3 or 4 with it. I didn't walk all the way to it. Let me tell you something, Brandon. Those rocks are boulders. You have to navigate through those on the walk. Tell me several times that you slid down there. Physically impossible. Physically impossible. Chelsea. It's physically impossible to slide down there. But this is your opportunity. This is your opportunity, Brandon. Did you put her in the water, Brandon? I didn't place her in the water. How did she get into the water? She was along the river line. She was by the water. She wasn't. But you slid it right on the water. Let me read that. Did you know the river rocks? I walked over the rock. I walked the river line. Okay, so you got it close enough to the water, right? That you got it close enough that if you push, there's a little push you was gonna go in. Is that what you're saying? So you pushed her in the water. She was placed along the river line. She was touching Brandon. And she was touching the water until you did what? Brandon. It's like, so you put it in the water. I walked over clear right there on the river line. Yeah, I do that. And I walked to the bullshit, Brandon. And then placed her in the water. Brandon. Didn't happen. The river ain't rose that much in the clubhouse. Yeah. Anyway, now, I'm gonna tell you right now, with what you tell me right now, you telling me that you did it, but you did a dick hole about it. You understand what I'm saying? It's all that out. You know it. What would you do? Place her down in the water. Did you place her in the water, Brandon? Did you place her in the water? Brandon, did you place her in the water? Brandon, you want to walk in that park? My father used to take me to that park, and we used to run our dog down there. I work the glasses, so I do too. I have all my life. I got my contact lenses right now. Swear to God. You started off with a lie, right? You started off lying. So you don't want to just look like a complete liar. So you want to make us feel like all of what you told us is the truth. But none of what you told us is the truth. You have started telling the truth completely for certain, correct? 99% of the truth still what? No, 99% of the truth? Still a lie. Correct, so 1% is a lie. The truth is the truth, and there's got to be 100%. If you leave out one portion, you're wrong. How did she get in the water? How did she get in the water? How did she get in the water? Who gets in the water, Brandon? You put it in the water. Okay. Did you put it in the water or did you toss it into the water? You tossed it into the water. Did she float away or did she sink? Did she come out of that seat? So you threw it in the water. Yes, sir. You threw it in the water. So you don't know where she or the seat went, do you? How far into the water did you throw her? It didn't go as far as it goes.
Could you clarify that for us? You said how far did she go in the water, the question was? Or how far in the water did you throw her, was the question?
He said it wasn't far. It didn't go as far as the gun.
Okay.
Was it still in the car seat when she hit the water? She came out, right? Okay. Did you hear the water splash when you threw it? Brandon, you threw it in the water. I didn't know you threw it in the water. You threw it in the water. How do you know you threw it in the water? I don't know if I asked you to threw her in the water. So I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm totally different. Did you hear that baby in the water? But you threw her into the water.
All right, the audio is a little low inside that courtroom, so why don't we bring in our guest for this hour to discuss. Joining us now from Denver, Colorado, criminal defense attorney Jeffrey Wolf. Hey there, Jeffrey, nice to see you today. All right, we've switched gears here at Court TV watching this case. Wow, that interrogation video. Now, the defendant has claimed that some of the confessions, some of the things that he was saying there, that it was coerced, but we're getting a chance to hear it inside the courtroom. What's your takeaway from that?
Yeah, I mean, coercive conduct in an interrogation is normal, right? Officers are allowed to treat people that way. They're allowed to lie to you. They're allowed to curse at you. They're allowed to be bullying to you. The officers don't pull their guns out. They don't get physically intimidating to him, but you can hear them cursing at him. You can hear them insisting that he's lying to them, that he's not telling them the truth, that he's leaving things out. And that action by them is intimidating. It is going to cause somebody potentially, if he didn't do it, which we don't know at this juncture, but if he didn't do it, it's going to cause what we have learned so much over the years is called a false confession. We don't know if this is a false confession out of this gentleman at this point, but if he's saying he was coerced into a false confession, this is the type of behavior that occurs during an interrogation that can cause that. It is something that influences a person to say the thing that they think is going to get them out of the room. And it is what officers do and what they are trained to do to get the person to admit to something, whether they did it or not. And it is textbook police behavior.
Yeah, Jeffrey, good point. Okay, we're going to have more testimony from the Baby in the River murder trial
on Court TV.
Yeah, more of the double murder trial for Brandon Isabelle. We are picking it up with some more of the defendant's police interrogation.
Look, so you come over there with Danielle. After you left her, after you shot her, did you change clothes? Okay. Where'd you change clothes at? Well, I'm gonna take my jacket off. Where's your jacket and no shoes at? The shoes are to the jacket's at home? Where's home? Which place? What address? 870. Where'd you put the jacket? It's hanging over the problem in the bottom. What's it look like? Black and gray? Yeah, black and gray. And that's what you had on when you shot her? Oh. Did any why did you take the jacket and the shoes off? So you just want them to change? What kind of shoes did you have on? These ones. Okay. And you put them where?
Clear, he said, what about the,
Is this before or after?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that for us?
He said he changed his jacket to his Adidas slide.
And where did he put the slides?
The slides was in the trunk of his car.
Yeah, I'm ready to go yesterday. You left that, so you changed everything. I just took the jacket off and changed shoes. So that one shirt you had on under the jacket, but they were see that over. Okay, so when you had the jacket, it's all the way up. Right.
That's obviously a typo in the transcript there. That's you speaking and not Brennan and Isabelle, correct?
Correct.
She said, why? What did you tell her?
Jeffrey, some of the things that we've heard so far in that interrogation, him saying that I shot her, referring to his girlfriend, 27-year-old Danielle. Also, the baby Kennedy, 2 days old, saying that I left her by the river in the car seat. Detectives kept asking him, well, where is the baby? We looked down there. We couldn't find her. And what are you taking away from this?
I think the biggest thing I'm taking away from it is that this interrogation, this confession that the prosecution is pointing to, didn't lead to the recovery of this baby, either alive or deceased. And I think that's a problem for the prosecution because they're pointing to this confession as the biggest piece of their case, right? Yeah. Because people are asking, well, if he confessed to this crime, why did he go to trial? And for the prosecution, having a confession should be a rock solid case. But the confession and the hard work by the detectives to get it didn't lead to the recovery of evidence here. And that's a problem for the prosecution in my estimation. I don't think it necessarily is a guaranteed acquittal, but it's a problem that the prosecution is going to have to overcome.
Yeah, and I mean, they couldn't even find the car seat. So he talked about having the car seat down there as well. A search turned up empty. So you have the two victims saying shot Danielle, but the baby, I mean, you know, we don't know where the baby is. So that definitely is a problem for the prosecution. How would you use that in your favor for the defense, Jeffrey?
Well, I think it plays into this being a false confession, right? If he's confessing to a crime he committed and he is giving them details of what he did and he actually did it, why is it not leading to evidence to corroborate his confession? If he is confessing to a crime he committed, the details he is giving the detectives should lead to evidence to back that up. If it's a false confession, the details he's giving the detectives should not lead to evidence to corroborate the confession he is giving them. And that is what is actually playing out here as you see the investigation play out after his alleged confession.
Yeah, excellent point.
4 different versions of that night, and detectives had to pull the truth out of him one piece at a time. Now, I want you to notice something. Not one time in any of those 4 versions did the ending change. He knew exactly where that road met the water every single time he told it. So after everything came out at trial, it came down to one afternoon in October. A jury had to decide something most of us can't even imagine deciding. Not whether he did it. That part was settled. But how much of the rest of his life he'd spend paying for it. Let's sit in that room with them.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've entered the sentencing phase. And what we're talking about is count 2 and count 3, the first degree murder counts with regards to baby Kennedy Hoyle. The aggravating circumstance that the state is relying on is that the murder was committed against a person less than 12 and that the defendant was 18 years or older. For this phase, and as proof of this aggravating circumstance, the state is relying on the proof that you heard at trial, that Kennedy was born January 31st, 2022, which you saw her certified birth certificate. You heard April Campbell, her grandmother, testify as to when she was born, and you saw text messages between Artisha Stewart and the defendant indicating the time of her birth. And so that's the proof that the state will be relying on to prove Kennedy's age for the aggravating circumstance. As part of that aggravating circumstance, the state also has to prove that the defendant was 18 or older. You heard proof that the defendant's birthday was February 1st of 1997. You heard that proof from the defendant in his statement. He gave his birthday. You also heard Artisha Stewart testify that he was turning 25 or 26 on the day that Kennedy was murdered. And also you have as an exhibit the certified divorce complaint that the defendant filed. It also includes his birthday, February 1st of 1997. That will be the proof that the state relies on to prove that aggravating circumstance beyond a reasonable doubt. Now, once you have listened to the proof, once you've heard any mitigation, the state is confident that you will find that the aggravating circumstance and the nature and circumstances of this case outweigh any mitigation. And we will be asking that you sentence the defendant to life without parole on counts 2 and 3. Thank you.
Well, counts 2 and 3, you've already found Mr. Isabelle guilty. So the state's aggravating circumstance is embodied in that finding of guilt. What we are here today in this phrase to decide is what the punishment should be. Is life enough? 51 years? Or do you have to be, is this man so unable to be rehabilitated that he should be kept in jail the rest of his life? That's what you have to decide. And we'll be showing you evidence that he's youthful, he's worked, he's got good awards at work. While he's been locked up, he never made bond on this. So he's been in jail. While in jail, he's taken opportunities to better himself, taking classes that they offer there. And that brings Artisha back into it. One of the factors is that he acted under the domination of another. And so you'll get to consider that and give it what weight you consider to be proper in deciding whether it should be life or life without parole. Thank you.
Good morning, April.
Good morning.
You've been out here all week, haven't you?
Yes.
This is finally your chance, right?
Right.
This is your chance to tell the jury what Kennedy meant to you, what Kennedy meant to your family, and how her loss has impacted you guys, okay? I'm going to let you go from here.
Kennedy. It was our world. We only got the hour with her. But when she laid on my chest, I got the biggest smile. I got to feed her and change her clothes. But I had to let her go to everybody else. So she just went around the room from me to her sister. Gerard's eyes lit up when she held her. I mean, everybody was in love with her. She was the sweetest thing ever. It's been a long 3.5, almost 4 years. I miss my grandbaby. You know, that was my number 7. She was 7 for me. And she could just take it just like that. It's been plenty of sleepless nights. I ain't slept in 3.5 years. I finally got sleep last night. I mean, you know, we never recovered her body, so when we buried her mom, I had her burial made with a beating heart. It added to her coffin so she would be by herself. I mean, I don't know what else to say. You know, we missed her. And she ain't here now. That's all I can say. That's all I can say.
Thank you. No other questions, sir?
Madison Irwin, Madison Erwin.
By whom are you employed, Ms. Irwin?
Inquisitor Incorporated.
And did you have a chance to work on the case of Brandon Isabelle?
Yes, sir.
And how old was Brandon when this happened?
He would have, am I allowed to refer back to my notes?
Hearing no objection, go ahead.
Okay. He would have been 24 going on 25.
And did he work? Did he have a work history?
Yes, sir.
And where did he work?
At FedEx.
You know how long he worked there?
Approximately 4 to 5 years.
I have passed you up in your article the record of the budget of the state with the information about it, the evidence. During his work there at FedEx, did he receive any awards or recognitions for outstanding work?
Yes, sir.
What did he receive then?
He received the Purple Passion Award from FedEx. It's a certificate of excellence. He also received Employee of the Year for 2020, as well as a outstanding performance during the fiscal year of 2020 memorandum to the office.
And the letter that was provided to us, is that a letter from FedEx?
Yes, sir.
And would you read that to the jury, please?
Yes.
Relatively short.
Brandon, I truly want to thank you for your outstanding performance during fiscal year 20. Thanks for going above and beyond in all areas. Your positive attitude and great work ethics are appreciated. The extra hours, teamwork, and leadership that you've shown have resulted in overall operational effectiveness. Brandon, you have exemplified what the Purple Promise is about. It is employees such as you that make FedEx one of the most admired companies in the world. In recognition of your outstanding performance, it is with great pleasure that I present you with this Bravo Zulu for making a difference and keeping the Purple Promise. And this is from Jackie Nichols, the Managing Director.
Thank you, Your Honor. So, Your Honor, please, I'm going to ask that be made to exhibit the letter and the 2 certificates of excellence.
Collective.
Collective exhibit, please.
You'd like to identify this as collective work achievement? Yes, I will mark. Thank you. $195.
And during the course of time from the date of arrest to today, Mr. Isabelle put in jail, have you had the chance to look at his jail records and see if he's completed any programs, has any certificates of completion of programs offered in the jail to better yourself?
Yes, sir.
What certificates of completion does he have?
He completed the electrical basics. He's also completed the master plan, and that's the first one, electrical basics, is from July of 2024. The master plan is from June of 2024. He has completed wellness recovery action plan. This is for reentry. That was completed in December of 2024. And finally, plumbing basics, that was completed in July of 2024.
So I'd ask that they made the next cumulative exhibit, please.
For the record, your last exhibit was 195. This will be 196.
During your time of working with Mr. Isabelle, has he been cooperative with you?
Yes, sir.
Also, did your investigation reveal that he has no criminal record, no criminal convictions?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. No other questions?
No cross judge for this.
Thank you. You may sit down. Mr. Massey, Mr. Hughes, do you have anything else? Is that it? Go ahead, please.
Thank you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a long road and we're almost there. The aggravator that we're relying on is that first one that you have in your instructions, that Kennedy Hoyle, the victim, was under 12 years of age, that this defendant was, forgetting the exact language, I think it's over 18 years of age. And we have a couple of exhibits just to show you that we have in fact proven Kennedy's age. Obviously, she was born January 31st. In the very early morning hours, she only lived less than 2 days. Brandon Isabelle, we heard this is a divorce decree that was entered, and it indicates that his birthday was February 1, 1997, which put him at 25 years old exactly at the time of the homicide, the day he murdered Kennedy. We've heard a little mitigation here. Congratulations on the plumbing certificate. Great job being Employee of the Year 2 years before you did this. And the Bravo Zulu. Good job. Those are things that we all do daily in our lives. But they don't in any way mitigate what he did to Kennedy Hoyle. They're not even close. I'm closer to being the starting point guard for the Memphis Grizzlies than those things are to mitigating in any way what he did to Kennedy Hoyle. You look in your instructions and there is a mitigator called, I think it's duress or domination of another. And I want to talk about that one a little bit in relation to the facts and circumstances of what he did to Kennedy. Duress. Was he under duress? Was he under domination of another when he pulled baby Kennedy out of that car after her mother had been murdered? Was he under duress or domination, extreme duress is what it says, or domination of another when he made the choice to throw her in his car and drive all the way 30 minutes to Cordova? Was he under extreme duress and domination of another when he chose to go inside the house and change out of the blaze slides and change out of his clothes and leave baby Kennedy in the car in February while he did that? Was he under extreme duress and domination of another when he made the choice by himself to get back in the car and drive all the way back down to the Mississippi River, to the Wolf River, where it meets the Mississippi River at Mott Island? Was he under extreme duress and domination of another when he drove up and down Island Drive trying to figure out a place to dispose of baby Kennedy? Was he under extreme duress or domination of another when he made the choice to pull her out of her little baby seat? when he made the choice to take her blanket away from her, when he made the choice to take her mittens away from her, when he made the choice to walk down to the edge of the water and throw her in that 40-degree water? Was he under extreme duress and domination of another? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is the most premeditated, cold, and calculating act that you could possibly do. I would argue that, obviously, the aggravators here, the aggravator far outweighs any of this mitigation that they put forward. And that gives you the opportunity to consider life without the possibility of parole. You could still sentence him to life with the possibility of parole. But there are things that we do, there are things that people do in this life that are worthy of not ever being able to walk among the law-abiding, contributing citizens of Shelby County, ladies and gentlemen. This is one of them. This is one of those things. And we urge you to sentence him to life without the possibility of parole. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention.
Go ahead, please.
Life is a long time. Sometimes we listen to TV and we listen to stories and we say, oh, they got out. They're not serving life. They serve life. They served 51 years as Her Honor instructed. 51 years for life. That's a long, long time. Mr. Isabelle would be, 76 years old? And you have to understand, too, that what you decide today is whether he gets life without parole or life. But after that, there will be a sentencing hearing where the judge decides how to structure those sentences that are imposed. So those sentences could run what we call wild, consecutively, life plus life, or, and the other offenses could, yes.
You have to object to this. It's not honorable in this setting.
Thank you for moving on, Mr. Massey.
Thank you. And so I think the question is, during that time and prior to that time, has Brandon Isabelle shown you that he has the potential to be a better person? Somebody that you don't have to lock up and throw away at you. That's the question. When we look, it's hard sometimes to think about 50 years and how long ago that was. It was 50 years ago that the Vietnam War ended with the fall of Saigon. I mean, if you don't remember that. I do. It was 50 years ago that President Gerald Ford had 2 assassination attempts. A long time ago. It was 57 years ago that Martin Luther King was assassinated here in Memphis. A long time ago. Has Mr. Isabelle shown you that he's the kind of person who can be rehabilitated? By the time he's 76 years old. And when we look, first place we would look is whether he's been a bad guy before. And the answer is no. He has no prior record at all. I respectfully submit that's a heavy weighing factor that you get to decide. Was he hanging on the street corner when he was arrested, or was he working? He's been working for 5 years at FedEx. And not only that, he was the kind of person that got these awards, that did his job well. He was the kind of person that got Employee of the Year. Not many get that. That's the kind of person Brandon Isabelle was at work. And after he's arrested and put in jail, did he just get salty? No. he reached out to take programs, to take advantage of the opportunities that are offered to him in the jail to make himself a better person. So that's what you have before you. And it's 50 years and up, 51 years. And of course the punishment should not go over into emotion. It should be something that's just. A light sentence, I respectfully submit. It's just. And it's no more than necessary to punish this horrible punishment of being a good person. Thank you.
State is the last word.
Mr. Massey asked you, is 51 years enough? Is a possibility for Brandon Isabelle walking out of prison one day, is that enough? For the murder of his own 2-day-old daughter, by grabbing her by the leg, throwing her into the Wolf River on a cold, dark, raining February night, all because she was inconvenient to him. Is 51 years enough? Now, Mr. Massey was talking about duress, domination. What duress? What domination? What proof in all of those exhibits that came forward showed that somebody was controlling him? What proof is there that someone told him, you got to go kill that baby or else? Who made him do this? State submits, nobody. This was a choice that Brandon Isabelle made of his own volition when he took that baby from the car. 2-day-old baby Kennedy. And let's be clear here. We say 2 days old. But she didn't get a full 2 days. She got about 45 hours. He took her and put her in his car and drove around Memphis. Went to Cordova, changed clothes out of those bloody slides, got back in his car where he left 2-day-old baby Kennedy and drove down to Mud Island, passing every interstate exit, passing all those houses. Got on Mud Island, drove up and down multiple times, past all those houses. There were 100 other things he could have done. He could have dropped that baby off at somebody's doorstep. He could have dropped that baby off at a fire station. But no, he made a choice. He chose to take his 2-day-old daughter. And he showed in his statement what he did. He carried her in his arms from his car down to that riverbank. Her hat already fallen off, hit her head, as he said. Was he worried about that? What did he tell Sergeants Floyd Bush and Boyd? He wasn't. He grabbed her by her leg, threw her into the Wolf River. And what did he say about that? It didn't go as far as the gun. Two-day-old baby Kennedy is forever frozen in time at 2 days old. She'll never have a chance to take her first steps, speak her first words. Never have a chance to go to her first day of school. She'll never learn how to drive a car. Graduate high school. Make the choice of going to college or starting a career. She'll never have a choice to win awards for her work. She'll never have a choice to be Employee of the Year. To get letters of commendation for what she could have contributed to this world. She'll never have a choice to decide whether she wanted to go get an electrical certificate, a plumbing certificate, or whatever it is that she wanted to do in this life. She'll never have a chance to get married, have her own kids, become a grandmother. Is 51 years enough? The state submits that's not. And the state submits that it's proven it's an aggravating factor. She was 2 days old. Brandon Isabelle, on his 25th birthday, took her life. Does the crime of murdering your own 2-day-old daughter by throwing her in the cold, dark, muddy Wolf River on a February night.
Life. It's a long time. Sometimes we listen to TV and we listen to stories and we say, oh, they got out. They're not serving life. They served life. They served 51 years as Her Honor instructed. 51 years for life. That's a long, long time. Mr. Isabelle would be, what, 76 years old? And you have to understand, too, that what you decide today is whether he gets life without parole or life. But after that, there will be a sentencing hearing where the judge decides how to structure those sentences that are imposed. So those sentences could run what we call wild, consecutively, life plus life, or, and the other offenses could, yes.
We have to object to this. It's not harmful in this setting.
Thank you for moving on, Mr. Massey.
Thank you. And so I think the question is, during that time and prior to that time, has Brandon Isabelle shown you that he has the potential to be a better person? Somebody that you don't have to lock up and throw away a key. That's the question. When we look, it's hard sometimes to think about 50 years and how long ago that was. It was 50 years ago that the Vietnam War ended with the fall of Saigon. I mean, if you don't remember that, I do. It was 50 years ago that President Gerald Ford had 2 assassination attempts. A long time ago. It was 57 years ago that Martin Luther King was assassinated here in Memphis. A long time ago. Has Mr. Isabelle shown you that he's the kind of person who can be rehabilitated by the time he's 76 years old? And when we look, first place we would look is whether he's been a bad guy before. And the answer is no. He has no prior record at all. I respectfully submit that's a heavy weighing factor that you get to decide. Was he hanging on the street corner when he was arrested, or was he working? He's been working for 5 years at FedEx. And not only that, he was the kind of person that got these awards, that did his job well. He was the kind of person that got Employee of the Year. Not many get that. That's the kind of person Fred and Isabelle was at work. And after he's arrested and put in jail, did he just get sulky? No. He reached out to take programs to take advantage of the opportunities that are offered to him in the jail to make himself a better person. So that's what you have before you. And it's 50 years enough, 51 years. And of course the punishment should not go over into emotion. It should be something that's just. A life sentence, I respectfully submit, is just. And it's no more than necessary to punish this horrible punishment of being a person.
Mr. Massey asked you, is 51 years enough? Is a possibility for Brandon Isabelle walking out of prison one day, is that enough? For the murder of his own 2-day-old daughter, by grabbing her by the leg, throwing her into the Wolf River on a cold, dark, rainy February night, all because she was inconvenient to him. Is 51 years enough? Now, Mr. Massey was talking about duress, domination. What duress? What domination? What proof in all of those exhibits that came forward showed that somebody was controlling him? What proof is there that someone told him, you got to go kill that baby or else? Who made him do this? State submits, nobody. This was a choice that Brandon Isabelle made of his own volition when he took that baby from the car. 2-day-old baby Kennedy. And let's be clear here. We say 2 days old. But she didn't get a full 2 days. She got about 45 hours. He took her and put her in his car and drove around Memphis. Went to Cordova, changed clothes out of those bloody slides, got back in his car where he left 2-day-old baby Kennedy and drove down to Mud Island, passing every interstate exit, passing all those houses. Got on Mud Island, drove up and down multiple times, past all those houses. There were 100 other things he could have done. He could have dropped that baby off at somebody's doorstep. He could have dropped that baby off at a fire station. But no, he made a choice. He chose to take his 2-day-old daughter. And he showed in his statement what he did. He carried her in his arms from his car down to that riverbank. Her hat already fallen off and hit her head, as he said. Was he worried about that? What did he tell Sergeants Floyd Bush and Boyd? He wasn't. He grabbed her by her leg, threw her into the Wolf River. And what did he say about that? It didn't go as far as the gun. Two-day-old baby Kennedy is forever frozen in time at 2 days old. She'll never have a chance to take her first steps, speak her first words. Never have a chance to go to her first day of school. She'll never learn how to drive a car. graduate high school, make the choice of going to college or starting a career. She'll never have a choice to win awards for her work. She'll never have a choice to be Employee of the Year, to get letters of commendation for what she could have contributed to this world. She'll never have a choice to decide whether she wanted to go get an electrical certificate, a plumbing certificate, or whatever it is that she wanted to do in this life. She'll never have a chance to get married, have her own kids, become a grandmother. Is 51 years enough? The state submits that's not. And the state submits that it's proven it's an aggravating factor. She was 2 days old. Brandon Isabelle, on his 25th birthday, took her life. Does the crime of murdering your own 2-day-old daughter by throwing her in the cold, dark, muddy Wolf River on a February night warrant the sentence of life without parole?
I believe that concludes statements and proof from both sides. And at this time, I will ask the jurors to return to that very small dining room with yet another folder and spend some time with their thoughts. To report back. It's now 11:11. It's the lunch be served soon.
Excuse.
Recess.
What stands for recess?
It is my understanding that a decision has been reached. Yes?
That's correct.
And is it unanimous?
Yes.
And all signatures are affixed to the document?
Yes.
If you'll please provide that document to Deputy Moore. Thank you. I told you when this started that I needed you to do this job. Thank you. You may be excused.
Jurors excused. Like to step.
Mr. Isabelle, according to the documents provided by the foreperson of this jury, we, the jury, unanimously find that the state has proven the following aggravating circumstance or circumstances beyond a reasonable doubt. The murder was committed against a person less than 12 years of age and the defendant was 18 years of age or older. We, the jury, unanimously agree that the defendant shall be sentenced to imprisonment for life. You will return to this court on October 31st for the status report on the remaining charges. As to count 2, life imprisonment. As to count 1, it was an automatic life sentence. and will pick up on counts 4 and 5, the aggravated child abuse and the especially aggravated kidnapping, on November 12th for a sentencing hearing.
Whoa, let's talk about that mitigation witness for a second, because they stood up in that courtroom and told the jury about his Employee of the Year award, his plumbing certificate. Like a completion certificate from jail erases what he did with his own 2 hands on a riverbank. Baby, I'm happy he's learning a trade. I truly am. But a man can be great at plumbing and still be the reason a 2-day-old baby never made it to day 3. Both things can be true. Now, here's what the jury actually decided. Not life without parole. Life with a possibility of walking out at 76 years old, 76, for choosing on his own 2 feet with nobody holding a gun to his head to carry his own daughter down to that riverbank and let her go. That was not desperation. That was a decision. And decisions like that don't get excused, not by me and not by anybody sitting in that jury box. Danielle Hoyle was 27 years old. She worked hard. She raised her daughter Jerry on her own steam. And by every account, she showed up for people. Kennedy Hoyle lived 45 hours. Lord rest her. She never got a name. People who loved her could call out across a room. She never got a first birthday or a first day of school or any of the ordinary things that make up a life. April buried her daughter with a small bear tucked into the casket, a bean-shaped heart sewn inside it, so that wherever Danielle was, she would not be there without her daughter close by. Because to this day, Kennedy has never been found. The search that started on those riverbanks in February of 2022 has never officially closed. Somewhere in the Mississippi or somewhere along its banks, this case is still open. That is not a detail we added for effect. That is just where this stands today, right now, while you are watching this. I asked you at the top of this video how 2 people go from lovebirds to this. I still do not have a clean answer, but I will tell you what I do know now, having walked through all of it with you. It was never really about love running out. It was about a man who never learned how to let a woman go without taking something from her on his way out the door. Danielle just happened to be the one standing closest when he decided to do that for the last time. If this case moved you the way it moved us putting it together, hit like, drop a comment, let the family know people still remember. It helps more than you would think. But before you go, I want you to do one thing for me. 45 hours. Say it back to yourself. 45 hours is all Kennedy Hoyle ever got. Say her name. Say Danielle's too, because somewhere out there, a mother is still waiting by a river that has never given her daughter back. And the very least we can do all the way over here is remember them right.